I just realized my mic wasn't even on. So I've been talking for 4 minutes with no audio. That's messed up. So I was saying that I don't have my paper with me because I think the day that you gave it to us and you were like, guys, take care of this paper, keep it with you. I dropped it somewhere. I don't even know where I dropped it because I remember putting it in my backpack. But I guess maybe I took it out. And I asked Alea if I could see her picture because I know she and her partner, Andrew, they had the same one as me and my partner, who I think her name's Reina, but maybe I'm wrong. No, Reina's a high school, I think. The I don't know. Yeah, I told Alea, can you send me a picture? She never did. I remember like brief parts of my script, like we need to leave. Why? It's not safe to be here. You've been saying that because it's true. I don't know. It was something like that, right? But I do remember the basics of my script. So basically, me and my partner, we were again. I don't know my partner's name, but we were. Maybe I can look it up real quick. People. I think it's Rosita. Yeah. Okay, I just checked and I looked in people and I think it's Rosita her name is under. Maybe it's something different. Rosita and I got partnered because I remember you gave everyone a script and somehow everyone found their own script person. And I was looking around and I was like, does anyone have this one? Does anyone have this? And then she ended up being closest and she ended up being like, oh yeah, I have one. So I teamed up with her. I told her right away. I'm like, I feel like we're in danger. I was like, first of all, which one do you want to be? And then I let her choose. I ended up getting the more like the paranoid one. Based off the dialogue, I did get the feeling that character, I believe it was character A, because I think that the paranoid one was the first one to talk. I got the feeling that character A was paranoid, or at least fearful, very jumpy. The second character B is more skeptical, but they're not like it's not like they don't think they're in danger. I think they're more in denial in the dialogue. And if I remember this correctly, character A is saying like, "Oh, it's not safe to be here. We need to leave." And character B is like, "You've been saying that." Character A is like, "It's true." B is like, "How do you know?" And it's like, I just do something. Not maybe they didn't say that, but I remember at one point it's like, so when do you think it'll happen? And it was like any moment. So it was something like character basically in that dialogue that I briefly remember, character B is already open to that idea of being like, oh, what's going on? Like they're actually asking because if you don't believe something, you're not gonna ask. Like if you tell me the sky is blue and I'm convinced it's red, I'm not gonna be like, so is it blue? Should we look outside? I don't care. I don't care enough to look. If I think it's red, I'm gonna think it's red. I'm not gonna double check. But I'm thinking in this case, it's like it kind of gives me the sorry, that's Leland. I need to mute him on Instagram. Um, basically, what was I gonna say? I already forgot. I was gonna say if me and my friend who's laughing in the background right now went to a haunted house. She believes in ghosts hella. She definitely believes in ghosts. She's thinking that breeze that went up her butt is somehow like a ghost or something touching her. And I'm thinking that like ghosts aren't real, but I have like a small creepy feeling going down my neck. I'm gonna be like, so do you think there's actually ghosts here? That's it's like I'm open to it, but if I'm straight like, ghosts ain't real. I don't think they're real because so and so and so. Even if a ghost happens to, I'm holding my friend's hand as she comes up from in front of me. She's like, "Oh, sorry, I had to go use the restroom." I'm gonna just look down. There's nothing there, and I feel nothing. My hand's cold. I'm gonna just be like, "Must have been the wind." I don't know if you know that one. Audio goes like, behind you, look, it's me. Even if it's that, I'm gonna turn around. If there's no one there, I'm gonna be like, it must be the people. They must have set it up. Like, if I'm convinced something isn't real, 100%, I don't think you're gonna ask questions about it. So if the character B is going, oh, so when do you think it'll happen? I feel like that really does hint towards they might believe that they might be in danger. Or maybe I guess the way you say it maybe makes it like different. Being like, oh, so when do you think it's gonna happen? Or saying something like, so when do you think it's gonna happen? I don't know. I don't feel like the second one really makes that much sense to say. I mean, like it can work, but like I guess in a disinterested tone. But I think it works and it fits. It just sounds more natural when you. I just think that that sentence itself makes more sense that the character B is contemplating whether or not they're actually in danger, if they're in doom, maybe they're accepting it. But even then, they go like, or maybe never. Like they're trying to deny it, but not they still know they probably in danger. And then them being like, so do you think anyone knows we're here? We use that to guess that maybe we were waiting for like help. Like we don't have any supplies. We don't have, maybe my partner wrote something different. Maybe she wrote down we were waiting to be attacked. But I just thought we're in a zombie apocalypse. I'm paranoid. She's not totally paranoid. She's skeptical. She doesn't really want to believe me, and she's kind of hating the fact that I'm, getting like always being like something bad's gonna happen. Like the boy who cried wolf, the Chicken Little when the acorn dropped on his head. That clip. I was saying that that's probably what was going on in the scene. What was the objective and what was the obstacle? In that scene? I think it was to convince the character like we need to be more wary. At least for me. But then where she's like, "Did you hear that?" And she kind of like does this. We were joking when we did that. When I first told her, I was like, "Oh, you can do this where you put your hand on it." And she was like, "Did you hear that?" I was thinking about that one meme. I know you're old, Professor. I know you're pretty old, and you don't really you're not hip like you used to be. But there's this meme where this guy, like this referee, grabs a ball and he goes like, "You ladies, all right?" What we were joking about, that's what she was doing when she goes like, "Did you hear that?" So the objective was probably for me to convince her that we need to get the hell out of where we are. We got no food. We got no the roof is caving in. All this stuff is going on. The wood is creaking. I fell through the hole at this point. And the obstacle is that she doesn't believe me. She doesn't think that we should get out of there. She's not totally convinced that we're in danger. When I'm like, yes, we are. It can happen at any moment. And then guess what? I was right because next thing you know, she hears something down the hall. So what did you and your partner come up with scene? How did you prepare? So basically, I just told her I was like, okay, you're skeptical. I'm paranoid. I'm coming up to you because you're probably she's probably trying to find some peace for my character because you don't want to always have someone yabbering in your you don't want to have someone, anxiously yapping in your ear about how you're in danger, bad things are going to happen, people with the tin foiled hat. You don't want to have someone like that all the time. Basically, we just prepared by me kind of coming at a distance and then grabbing her shoulder. Like, I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So that way she wouldn't be surprised when we were in the scene. I'm like, you know what would be a good idea? Grabbing her by the shoulder out of nowhere. So I was like, okay, you're going to face away from me. I'm going to come up to you and grab your shoulder. Then I was like, oh, when it's your turn to be like, well, what noise is that? We need to pause. So we practiced pausing as well. So I was like, okay, this is this dialogue because everything was together, right? I remember all being together. All I did was I grabbed the paper and then I just bent it at each point that like I thought that there was a pause in the dialogue. And so I just did that like three times because there was like three pauses. There was the original where I was saying we need to get out of here. The second one where she goes, so when do you think it'll happen? And then the last one where she's like, do you think anyone knows we're here? So then there was like three lines. Oh, you can't even see it. There was like three lines right here. Three lines. So she would know when to stop and she would pause. Um, and I just put the pauses. They weren't really long. They were just brief, just so that it would make sense throughout the dialogue. I know later on you were telling us, especially with our monologue, not to add any pauses that were not already there. But I just wanted to. We just added it for our scene because I was like, it needs to have a few brief pauses of like us to breathe, like. Yeah. So we prepared. Me putting my hand on her shoulder, pausing at the dialogue, trying to memorize. I told her we can still read it. Like the professor said, we can read from our script. We're just trying to make it a little more submersive for the audience to be able to tell what's going on, like not lose the submersion. I don't freaking know what words are coming out of my mouth right now. Point is, grabbing her shoulder, pausing, and her putting her like hand in front of me, like being like, "Oh," and then occasional turning away from each other, because it's like a little bit of miscommunication between our character. Not really miscommunication. There's a little bit of like not arguing or fighting or anything, just like a like no, I don't believe you, and like you need to like this can happen. Okay, well, and I think like as it was going on, you could see that her character was starting to turn towards my character and kind of believe what she was saying. If I remember correctly, she was kind of like on the offense. She was like, "What are you talking about? Like you're crazy. Go back to the padded room." But once a little bit like near the end, she's like, "Did you hear that?" Like she's scared. So that's what we did to prepare. I did enjoy working with her. It was so much fun. We were like giggling the whole time because it was just like we were joking about like the hand thing, and then we were also trying to come up with the story for it. I think the only challenge was we were like at first we weren't sure. Like she was saying something about a ghost house. I was saying about zombie apocalypse and catastrophes. I was like maybe there's gonna be a big ass meteor. Like so we were like throwing things out there, but I was like maybe zombie apocalypse. Like maybe we're in danger from people. And then I think just once we actually got up there, she was a little nervous and I could tell just because she was looking more at her paper and then she had a lot of energy she was putting in when we were practicing, but once we were up there, it's kind of like her energy became nervous. Her energy became nervous. So that was pretty much it, but I wouldn't really call it a challenge because I do the exact same thing and I did the exact same thing afterwards. I think. But anyway, so I really did enjoy working with her. I feel like it made it easier when I went up because my no longer was I looking at people. I was looking at her. My focus was on her. So I wasn't so much worried what others were looking if people were looking at me or not. So I was just focused on, making it look believable, me being like, "Yo, we need to get out of here, man. We gotta get it." And what scene stood out to you from the rest of the class and why did they stand out? I think it was Lily. Lily made me laugh. Okay, when she went up and she was like, I have a secret I can tell you. And she started smoking a blunt with Pow. I think she was with Pow. It made me laugh. I don't know. That was funny. It's just the energy Lily brings into her scene. It made me like pay more attention. Even if it was more of like a slight comedic tone with it, I did enjoy it. It was funny. I liked it. I'm trying to remember who else. I think Gil also went up. Maybe I'm wrong. But I swear it was probably with Geneva, right? Because I remember that I think it was like a mom and her daughter or something. Because Geneva was in the room, and Gil was outside the door, like pounding on, like, "Dad!" I forgot what the dialogue was, but I just remember like it was sassy, and then we all were like, "Oh, hey, let's go." Sorry, I know now. I know I should have like written something down. I should have brought like a notebook or something. Because I feel like that it would have helped. I'm gonna miss this class. We have only like two classes left. Anyways, that's all for my journal 8. I think that was the last question. Yeah, what's he stood out to you in the rest of the class and why did they stand out? Lily's because I feel like there was a lot of energy, especially comedic. Still like trying to be serious. That one made me laugh. I thought it was interesting. And then Gil's, I don't remember all the dialogues. I do remember there was one. Oh my god! Okay, I just remembered Riz. Riz made me laugh because she's the one where it was like, "Do you have the time?" And she just goes, "Nope." And she hides like the watch that was on her wrist. So that one, Riz, Gills, and Lily's. Lily. So those were the top three. And since I don't remember any other ones, that's probably because they did not catch my attention hard enough. Okay, thank you. I'll be back in like 2 minutes to record the second journal, journal 9.